welcome to a Friday Waffle. You know this guy on my left, right? I don't know, whatever way it is. Always get it wrong. Hey, how the hell are you, sir?
I'm all right, mate. You?
I'm not bad, not bad. It's actually, it's pretty warm. How's the weather down there? Where exactly are you? I don't want to know your street name, etc. But where about in the UK are you?
I am in North Devon.
Ah, nice. That's a nice part of the world. I've got quite a few friends that live down that neck of the woods. I was going to say it's a pity I don't have any friends that would put me up for the night, but to be fair, you've already invited me down, haven't you?
Yeah.
Or was it one of these? Was it one of these casual things where when you see somebody you've not seen for years, you go, "Oh, give me your phone number. We'll get out for a pint. Yeah." And then 2 weeks later, you go, "Who the fuck is that? Mike?" We've all done it. We've all done it.
Yeah. No, the weather's all right, mate. It's been kind of raining 1 minute, sunny the next.
Yeah, but it's been pretty much the same up here. I mean, it's gone from. I mean, it's positively balmy tonight, and then I had the heating on Monday, Tuesday. You know, it's been absolutely just all over the place. But as Billy Connolly said, there's no such thing as the wrong weather, just the wrong clothes.
Yeah, that's true enough. You've had the heating on?
I had the heating on, yeah. I know, coming from a Scotsman, I had the heating on Monday, Tuesday, and I bloody forgot. I forgot to turn it off, and I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning, absolutely sweating buckets. Anyway, so yeah, my everyone's all good here. So anyway, yeah, this is a waffle. It's not a live waffle, obviously. It's been recorded last night, if that makes any sense. So what I thought we've spoke to Chris about what we're going to do is topic wise, we're going to discuss consoles. Now, anybody that watches my channel will know that, you know, I generally do kind of err towards 8-bit, 16-bit computers. Would you say, as obviously you're a regular on my channel, but you're also a viewer as well? Would you say that's kind of where my channel lies?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, when you do your Arcade Perfect My Arse, you do throw a few console ones in as well. I mean, I'm more of a computer guy than a console guy, but I know a little bit about consoles, and you know, I've played on them. I've got some.
Yeah, I've seen people mention my channel, you know, in forums, whatever, and it always annoys me. They'll say, "Oh, he does Commodore 64 and Friday Waffles." I'm like, what? Have you not to watch my bloody channel? I mean, you know, I might not be a lot of things, but one thing I do try is I try to get variety out there. You know what I mean? Some of it fails, yeah. Some of it works, but I do try different things. I mean, you've watched my gadgets today, which I really need to resurrect. That was an embarrassment, but
yeah, but it was funny.
It's worth it just to watch the intro, which I think is fantastic. But yeah, I do try and do a lot of stuff. I think possibly because obviously we've been doing a lot of sort of collab videos with Mr. L. And obviously Mr. L is very much Amiga C64. So that's why we tend to, you know, when Lacosa and I are doing videos, it generally tends to kind of stick to these machines. But I think a big thing for me is it comes down to the nostalgia factor. I mean, I've come to realise that I would look upon myself as more of a historian than anything, than a collector, a gamer, whatever. I do play video games, but my greatest pleasure comes from just talking about old systems, talking about memories, you know. That's kind of where I am, and so I suppose from a console point of view, I never actually. I mean, what age was I when I got my first console? Blimey, probably about 1994. I bought a SNES and I had it maybe 6 months and sold it. So I've never really had. It's only been in the last maybe 10 years that I've kind of built up a collection of machines, and I do enjoy playing them. You know, things like the Sega Saturn, whatever, is absolutely fantastic machine for shoot 'em ups. But when it comes to nostalgia and the wallowing and the memories, the misty-eyed memories of the sort of early 80s, that's why it's always going to be the sort of Commodore 64, even more so than the Amiga. I mean, I was talking to Lacosa the other day there, and he said that although he didn't have an Amiga and he enjoys the Amiga, he doesn't really have the nostalgia for it. What about yourself? I mean, if you were to lump nostalgia, what percentage would be against what machine?
Cool, blimey. Nostalgia. I think you're probably talking 80% Commodore 64, 5% Spectrum, because I only had it for a couple of years and it was the very early games I had on that. And the rest would be Amiga for computers. I've still got two A1200s. They probably need recapping now. They're in the garage. They worked a couple of years ago, last time I tried them. But yeah, I mean, my first console was a PlayStation. I bought that the year my eldest was born. So that was 1997. So that was my first console. I mean, I before that, it was Spectrum, Commodore 64, Atari ST, Amiga, and then PlayStation, because I used my Amiga right up through till 98, 99. I was still playing mod files and some of the games on it. And then I got a PC, and then that's it. And I ended up getting rid of everything, and then started watching your channel, went out and bought a lot of fucking Commodores. Thanks, mate.
I'll tell you, it's an addictive hobby. It's quite funny. I live in Livingston. I don't mind admitting that. It's a big town. Nobody's likely to find me. But somebody started a growing up in Livingston on Facebook, and my dad, God rest his soul. I mean, he started up. He was born in a place called Leith, which is a port in Edinburgh. Now, people of Edinburgh regard Leith as part of Edinburgh, but people who are born in Leith don't see themselves as being Edinburghers. They see themselves as Leithers. They're like separate. And my dad started up a website called Old Leithers, about 20 years ago, and it just absolutely took off. This was really before the internet was a thing. And I mean, it got to a point that anytime I went down to see him, you know, whatever time it would be on, he would oh, Alan, I'm just on a Skype call to Tam for Quebec in Canada. Come and say hello. I'm like, I'm not talking. I don't know who this guy is. And my dad ended up getting an award from Edinburgh for his services to Leith, because he really put Leith on the map. And when my dad passed away, there was a few. I mean, quite a few of my dad's mates who were right into the website. And they contacted me. She says, look, you know, can you keep the website going? And I says, look, I don't have any affinity to Leith. I wasn't born in the place. I don't have any history. And I thought, so I'm not able to really. I didn't have the time to do it either. But what I did was I started up a Facebook page called the Spirit of Leithers. Started that up. When would it be? My dad passed away in 2013. 2013. So I started that page up, and a guy contacted me about 6 months later. Says, look, could I would like to kind of help you out with the admin side. And I says, look, to be honest with you, I would gladly you take the running of the site over, and I don't have anything to do with it now. But the last time I saw, I think there's about 50,000 people on it, and
bloody hell.
The only thing that I've ever said is, please don't ever change the about bit. So if you go to Spirit of Leithers and look at the about, it will tell you about my dad. It was spawned from my dad's old Leither website, and it slightly annoyed me. I had, you know, the little avatar thing that you've got on Facebook. That was a picture of my mum and dad taken in like the 50s. It looked like some kind of Hollywood couple. It was a beautiful picture of them. It was a black and white picture. And I said to the guy, says, look, please leave that in. That's all I ask. But I know it's a couple of years ago he changed it for something else. But you know what? Things have moved on. The chances are the people that are in that now wouldn't even know who my dad was. But I've just been a Billy Connolly. I've gone way off on a tangent. Anyway, so I now feel like I'm turning into my dad. I'm now at that age where, I mean, this growing up in Livingston, it's just, I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. It's been going about 6 weeks. I think they're up to about 12,000 people. And, you know, it's all very well putting what was your favourite kind of crisps at school, or what kind of training shoes did you have. Now people are putting things like posting a picture of the police station. Oh, did anybody have an overnight stay at the police station? Yeah, I broke into a bank. No. You're like, fucking hell. But somebody posted a picture of it was like a Spectrum, a Commodore 64, a PlayStation. What ones did you have? or have, and somebody's go, oh, I've got that. I've still got my PlayStation 2. I go, I've got them all. But I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, as I say, I've never been a collector per se. He says sitting down about 50,000 fucking games that I'll never play. But it's never been a conscious decision to build my collection. I mean, if somebody says to me, "Oh, what game would you love to own?" Well, if I've got it on a ROM, then I don't care. As long as I can play the game. I mean, you know, I buy games to play, and I know quite a lot of my friends, probably you included as well, Chris. You're not a collector per se. You buy systems, games, whatever, so you can play them.
Yeah, I mean, my Commodore 64 stuff is all in boxes in the garage. The games are. The only real games in the house is I've been buying some new PC games from Huey Games. They've been doing Kickstarters over the last couple of years, and then the next one's due to finish in a couple of days. They've smashed it. And the last one is I'm looking at it now. It's sat over there in its cellophane still. It's one of those cassettes with a USB that pops out, and I can't even remember what that game is. But I've got all of them so far.
What system is that you're saying?
That's for the PC.
See, right, yeah. I've probably got quite a few games up there that I've never even opened, which is just absolutely mental. But so what's your kind of experience with well, you already mentioned that. You mentioned about the PlayStation being your first console. Have you had a chance to play SNES, Mega Drives, etc., etc.?
Oh yeah, I mean, my brother had a SNES. A mate of mine got an American SNES on import, and then all he had was he had Super Mario World. Is it Super Mario World on that one? And
yeah.
he had some shite WWF game, and then he got the Magic Drive. So then games were coming on discs, and he lent it to me one weekend, and there was Street Fighter, Axel A, one of my favourite SNES games, Rock and Roll Racing. And yeah, so I played the SNES quite a bit, and my mate and his brother, when they lived together, they had consoles coming out your ear holes. And that's where I first saw Streets of Rage 2, which I still think is the best console beat 'em up of all time. So I've played them quite a bit. I mean, I can't remember whether or not they had a PC engine or a Turbo Graphics when I went round there. I'm sure one of them had it, because you used to have to buy the games on import. But yeah, they had so many. They had one of the rooms in this flat. It was a big room, and all of one wall and all down one side, it was like a Mega Drive, SNES, Amiga, ST, Commodore 64. I think they had a Spectrum. I think they definitely had a couple of BBCs. It was like the sort of rooms we've got now, but 20 years ago.
That's very, that was very, very rare, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And also, at the end of that road, I had a fucking great Dragon's Lair arcade machine with the full thing, with a laser disc and everything.
Wow. Talking of that, have you seen I did put a post up on the Main Meister Facebook page. Have you seen that is it Arcade 1-Up sit-down Star Wars thing?
I have seen it. I mean, how big is it? I mean, I'd love to have one, but...
I thought it was going to be like half size, but there's a picture of a guy sitting on it. It might be bloody a dwarf, possibly. I don't know. It does look full size, but it seems to be. I mean, when you consider how much an original sit-down Star Wars would cost, I mean, I know it's not the full boona, it's not the full kind of cockpit. It's like a cab with a kind of wooden bench type thing, but it seems like a lot of kit. For I think it's £499, so I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to be like, but
I mean, it's still running. It's got to be running a cut down version of MAME or something, can it? I mean, it's not the original.
Original. And I think it's going to live or die on the controls, I think.
I mean, I play Star Wars on my arcade cabinet with a trackball because it works like a mouse. It's reverse, so down is up, up is down, and that's a great way to play Star Wars.
I'm pretty much the same, but Yeah, but I so what about, I mean, obviously we can't touch on. I mean, technically the first console would have been one of your. Did you have a Binatone TV game? Chan, you weren't even bloody born when I had mine, were you?
I'm only about 5 or 6 years behind you, mate. I think I can't remember because when they were all coming out, I was playing Skelectrics and TCR with real overtaking. So I was more into actually
I
playing with the cars
always
than I
wanted
was
TCR
that.
and I never ever got it. I asked my mum for Scholetrics. What did I get? A train set.
Yeah, that is a bit different.
Hell, shite anyway. But anyway, yeah. So TCR, that was bloody awesome. So, what was your first? Did you have an Atari 2600 at all?
No, honestly, my first machine I played at home was a Spectrum. The kid next door got a rubber key one Christmas. Then after we completely battered his keyboard playing Decathlon, I got a Spectrum Plus. I think it was, I can't remember if it was my birthday, like 3 months later, or if it was the Christmas a year later. I can't remember. It's like we're going back to 1983 here, when I was like 11. But yeah, the first thing I had to play games on at home was the Spectrum, and
Mm-hmm.
I hated it. I hated it for the first 6 months until I spent another occasion's money on a joystick interface, and then it was a lot better.
And then you didn't have it for very long, did you? Until you got your C64, right?
I had it about. I must have been about 2 or 3 years. I had it because I didn't get
What?
my 64 until '86.
I'm quite surprised. So you had it from when did you see? You got it. When did you get the Spectrum?
It was either it must have been. I mean, when did the Spectrum Plus come out? Because I got it when it come out, just after it jumped up from a rubber key. So that's got to be what, late '83, early '84, or Christmas '82. I don't know.
And you had it for about 3 years then.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not that you're a C60, not that you're a Spectrum hater, but I honestly thought you would have a lot of love. I mean, I know a lot of your Spectrum bashing is just a bit of banter. I mean, did you not have a bit of love for the system since you had it? That was your first. Yeah.
yeah, of course I have. But people buy it, don't they? And I've like we've said before in discussions, the some of the Spectrum crowd, and it's not all people, as like I put in my silly video I put out last week, and that was aimed at a bloke who I have loads of Spectrum banter with, and he's one of the nicest blokes you've ever met. And we never, you know how some people really take it to heart and get upset about it. Me and
Right.
him don't do that. He's always going on about blocky walls of brown and the Commodore was this, the Commodore was that, and I just put up a Sid tune. I like, shut up, Dave, and he's like, fuck off. And there's no animosity. As soon as someone bites and starts getting shitty about it, even though I don't believe what I'm saying, I'll just wade in because I think it's funny, and that is literally it. And if it makes someone else laugh, I can't help myself sometimes. But no, I don't hate the Spectrum at all. I had it for 3 years, and you know the games I liked it. I liked Wheelie. I liked 3D Star Strike. I liked the 3D Death Chase. Attic Attack was a classic on there. I think I'd swapped to the 64 by the time Head Over Heels come out. But there was a couple of the isometric games that I liked on there. But at the same time, when the Spectrum was out, I was also a BMX kid. So I didn't spend as much time as indoors then as I did when I got the Commodore 64. I was like getting on for sort of like 14, 15. So I'd stopped, jumping over my mates on a bike, and I'd started playing computer games more. So yeah, the Commodore 64 had more of an impact on the way I played games because I was indoors more to play it.
Yeah.
And because it had two joystick ports. Me and my friend, I'll drop his name because I doubt he'll ever see it. My mate, I'm still in touch with him, my mate Dean Clayton. It was him that I bought my 64 from. And because it had two joystick ports, we used to sit and spend hours together playing whizball. I'd play the cat, he'd play the wizard. And a lot of the games where you could have two players playing at once. And we spent hours doing that, and slowly but surely our BMXs turned into racing bikes, and they were just to get to the shops and to get home quicker so we could play the games together. And I did that right up until I left school in '88, and then I went to college. But I'm still in touch with Dean now, but I was knocking about with him until I had my A500 in the early '90s.
Mm-hmm. Interesting you mentioned about the two joystick ports of the C64. When I think back to, you know, when I had my C64, my best mate at the time, is still my kind of best mate. I don't see him as often now, but we've been pals for best part of 50 years almost. Not 50 years, 40 years. And yeah, he had a Spectrum, I had my C64. And I think that was a big part of it. We used to spend equal amount of time at each other's houses, but when we're in his house, it invariably would be, I would sit and watch him playing his Spectrum, and then we'd go down to my house and we would play together on the thing, and it was because of the two joysticks.
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of it, because I mean I went round his house because we ended up in a lot of the same classes at school, like for maths and English, like they do when they split you up. We ended up going round his house, and that's when I was blown away when we spoke about in the video where I heard crazy comments and that, and I was like, bloody hell! And then you know, he's got two joysticks plugged in. I'm like, two joysticks. So I had to wait for a birthday or Christmas to get a port for one joystick. So yeah, that was another big part of it. It was, you know, it was the whole. I've definitely got the nostalgia for the music. But yeah, thinking about it now, sitting there playing games as two players, you know, I basically, from that moment, I wanted to get a Commodore 64. My mum and dad couldn't afford to get me one, but I said, would you mind if I sold my Spectrum to pay for it? And they was like, well, it was a Christmas present, but yeah, it's up to you. I ended up sending it to my dad's mate, Paul, and I think I sold it for 75 quid. It was still in the box. It was mint. I really look after my electric stuff, as you know, from my refurbs and my Commodores. And I think I had to put a fiver to it, and I bought, Dean had two Commodore 64s for whatever reason. He sold me one, and that one lasted me all the way through, never broke. I think that ended up with Jeff and his brother in their flat at some point.
Have you still got an original one though?
No, I don't know if my mate's brother James he's still got a few 64s. I don't know if he's still got my real one. If he has, I don't know. I'd get it out of him. But I'd love to have my original 64 back.
I wonder where my one went to. Probably in a loft somewhere. You know what was interesting? Getting back to that, that Facebook page thing. Somebody posted a picture of a Vectrex, and people are going, "Oh, I remember that." And some numpty said, "Oh, that's worth $3,000." And I went, "No, it's worth about 300 quid." "No, it's worth $3,000, mate." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And the number of people that were saying, "Oh, I've still got one in the loft." You know, there are quite a few people, and considering it's got a small area, it's amazing. It's interesting the amount of like technology and old systems that is probably still kicking about in a loft.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a console. You know, I didn't really know about it at the time, but that's a console I would have loved to have had. You know, looking back, I mean it's a great. I mean, I've only ever played it under emulation. I've never even used the real one.
Yeah.
But the emulator on the iPad that you've shown on your channel, and I've got an emulator on the PC that lets you put the overlays on for the games of it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Looks nice.
It does look nice, but it'll never replicate. I mean, it's over there looking at me just now. It's a lovely little machine, as everybody knows that watches this channel. But can you getting back to sort of consoles again? So one thing that I've always been that's been quite apparent with people, there's a certain element of the populace who are into video games who kind of frown upon consoles like they're toys. I have a few friends, I don't know if they're still like that, but they were, "Oh no, you know, I would be playing like my Xbox 360. Oh, my 10-year-old PC is doing 1080p, whatever." There's this, you know, this kind of snobbishness, sort of disdain towards consoles. But yeah, have you noticed that with people? There's certain people.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, how many times have you read, "Oh, PC Master Race" on some stuff?
Yeah,
which is it's silly. I mean, I've over looking over in that direction. I have got a PC tower, which is where I use to capture all my music and record my videos and stuff like that. Underneath that is a PlayStation 3. Underneath that is an Xbox 360 and a Wii. And then just across the room, about 4 foot away from that, is a Commodore 64. Who gives a fuck? As long as you can play the games on it, it doesn't matter. A game's a game. I mean, I love some console games. That's why I've got them all emulated on that PC, so I can play console games without having to worry about upscaling, blowing in the cartridge ports because they don't work on a great big telly. And that's how I do it. I've got every Mega Drive, every SNES, every PC Engine, every 2600 game, and more. You know, I've been collecting ROMs probably about as long as you have. About 97, 98, I started collecting ROMs, and I've got, I think I've got in each emulator folder, I've got all the games sorted by letter and sorted by country, like, you know, Japan, USA, World, and all that, and Europe and that. And then I've got all of those ROMs again in a folder called emulator ROMs, where I've got one of each one, so I haven't got like the international double and that. And I've got them all again in there. And then I've got them on the arcade machine. I've got them on my phone. I've got them out there on the computer. I've got them fucking everywhere, mate.
I just actually bought myself one of my drives failed, a 3 terabyte drive failed, so I bought myself a 10 terabyte. I mean, it was about 150 quid, which is insane when you think you know the value of it. And then I've been downloading that CoinOps next to the PC, which is just mind blowing. If there's one single bit of software that you need, that'll cater for everything. But I thought to myself, I've spent. I mean, it's up to 2 terabyte in data. This CoinOps. So I thought, bloody hell! I wanted to. I think I had a 2 terabyte drive kicking about doing nothing. So I thought, I'll back it up. But as everybody knows, a 2 terabyte drive does not have 2 terabyte of data. You'll get like 1.8. So I bought a 5 terabyte drive for about 90 quid off Amazon, and I've now backed this thing up. And I mean, I must have about I don't know, 25 terabyte of data. And I just know that when I kick the bucket, my daughter's going to go, what the hell? What's Dad got all these things for? And the first thing she's going to do is properties format drive. I keep telling her, I says, look, for Christ's sake, I says, if I die, all that shit that I've got in that cupboard, that's worth money. You know, and I keep saying to her, I mean, I've said to one of my mates, God forbid anything happen to me, well, it's going to happen to me at some point. I need him to kind of guide her because, you know.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. All you got to do is say to her, phone up this bloke in Devon called Chris, and he will take it off your hands easy.
100 quid deal. Dearie me. But yeah, I mean, getting back to the console snobbery thing. I mean, the thing I love about, like I said, I got into kind of consoles late on. I mean, you know, back in the day, you could most people could only afford one machine. So whether you had a Spectrum and you wanted a Commodore 64, you had to fund the purchase with selling what you had. So it was only ever one machine you had, and it would only be, what the hell, about I don't know, maybe the early 2000s when and again, I've mentioned this loads of times. It was a guy on Yak Yak, which was like Jeff Minter's forum. This guy, was it Xenon or something he was called? He put a post up one day saying computers giveaway, and I went in, and this guy basically had about 50, similar to your brother actually. What was your brother's name? he wasn't called Xenon or whatever by any chance?
No, it was my mate's brother, and no, it weren't him.
Anyway, he had a list of about 50 machines. You know, he had numerous BBCs, you name it, he had them all. And what he said was that I think his wife was having a baby, and he just decided they needed the space. He wanted to get rid of everything. He wanted rid of everything, but rather than sell the stuff, he wanted to give it away. I think this is before there was really a demand for these things, you know, because yeah. So I put my hand up, you know, if anybody wants anything. So what did I end up getting? I got a VIC 20, which unfortunately was broken and arrived. I got a VIC 20. I got what did I get? I got a BBC Master, and I got something else. I can't for the bloody life of me remember what the third machine was. And that kind of opened my eyes to the fact that, wait a minute, I would love a Commodore 64 because at that point I was into emulation. It was great being able to play my machines, playing the games on emulation. But suddenly I thought, I wonder if I could buy a C64 on eBay. You know, I went on eBay and sure enough, there's one for whatever it was, 30 quid. Bought that, buy a Spectrum, buy another Amiga, and it just kind of snowballed. And it was like, you know, my sort of holy grail was my Atari 800, the original. I call it the tank version. It's like built like a bloody tank. And I mean, they went for daft money. But yeah, it was just being able to get a hold of a machine that I'd never ever had the chance to own back as a kid. And so, of course, I got this, you know, got my SNES, I got my Mega Drive, and it's just kind of built up. And now I'm sitting, I mean, I don't know, I noticed on the Discord channel, somebody had a post about what do you have. I mean, I would be embarrassed to put out what I've got. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of stuff I've got. But you know what I do? I mean, a bit like yourself. Well, you do maybe you emulate a lot more. I do have all my machines set up. I mean, underneath that TV, what have I got? I've got a PS4, I've got a PS2, I've got a Wii, I've got a GameCube, I've got a Dreamcast, I've got a Saturn, I've got a PC Engine Duo. Underneath, I've got an Atari ST, and in that TV there, I've got a SNES, Neo Geo, Mega Drive, PC Engine, and C64. And I've got an Amiga over there. I've got a Spectrum with the sort of Spectrum laptop thing as well. And I've also got all the cables for, like, Christ knows what have I got in there. I've got a Vision, Odyssey. It's just an insane amount of machines. But I love the fact that I can now play these. Gutted that my Amiga CD32 has stopped working. That it just doesn't read discs at all. Probably because I've been trying to play copies on it. I don't know. But you put a disc in and it just doesn't read it. I'll need to speak nicely to Mr. Gadget UK and see if he can maybe help me out. He did completely, utterly. He recapped my PC Engine Duo. It's like brand new now. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he can do it. If not, I know he's on YouTube, but he's a good bloke. Mark Payne from Mark Fixes Stuff. He's another one to ask if Chris can't do it. He's a sound fella.
I mean, I'd gladly pay for somebody to fix it. I do like it.
Yeah,
I know technically it's an Amiga A1200 in a case, isn't it? But it's
sort of.
But it's still nice to have. It is still nice to have. But yeah, as I say, I love the fact that I mean I've got the sort of the 16-bit consoles underneath my Sony. Is it Trinitron, which is apparently about the best CRT you can get. I got that for, was it 30 quid? At that point, when I bought that, I was, me and my ex had already like split. She'd moved out of the house, etc. But I didn't have this place at that point. And I went to, this guy was selling it. I went through to see it, and I gave him the money. I says, look, I can't actually pick it up just so can I get it in 2 months' time? So I bought it. And then as soon as I had this house, the first thing I had was got my CRT TV. I remember getting my mate to give my hand up the stairs with it, and he's like, "What the fuck are you buying an old telly like that for? You've got a 42-inch plasma in here. What are you fucking wanting that for?" I never knew mine just get it on me. He goes, "What have you got with these Jaguar? What are you keeping this box for? It's just shit. Seriously, you for real?" Oh, fuck off. He didn't get it. He totally didn't get it. So where are you with like? I mean, I've seen people buying boxes on eBay for 50 quid. You know, you can get a recreated Commodore 64 box for like 30 quid or whatever. Where are you? Would you? I'll give you a scenario here. If there was a mint C64 with a box in good condition for, I don't know, 150 quid, or there was a mint C64 without a box for 30 quid less, what would you do?
No, I'd go for the one without the box.
Yeah, you and I both.
I mean, I've got a mint 64C. I mean, I bought it, but my missus gave me the money and bought it for me for my birthday. It's one of the. It hasn't got the longer board in it with the 6581. It's got the short 8580 board in it, but it's got the old style keys. Even though they're white, it's got the Petsky characters on the front. So it's this, that, and that is. I don't know if I've showed you a picture of that. That is absolutely spot on. I think you saw it on my Facebook page. I think I put up "Hello, Pretty" or something. But that is absolutely mint. But it didn't come in a box. Although I've got 14 Commodore 64s. I've got 7 of each shape, and I've got one 64C box and one oversized pack box for a bread bin. All the rest, one's in a case. All the rest are in plastic. Once I've cleaned them all, they're in plastic with a bit of silica gel stored in a wardrobe, and they get a look in every now and again. You know, I've got one that I got from you that's got a nice SID on it. It says SID on that one, so I know which one's there. I've got one with the FPGA SID. I've got one with the ARM SID in it. All these replacement things. All the rest are the real deal. See, the thing, and the annoying thing is back in the 90s, before my first one was born, when me and my missus were in our first flat in North London, I wanted to get back into 64s again because of spending time with Jeff and his brother. It kind of rubbed off all these old systems. So I basically went to a car boot sale and I bought a Commodore 64, a box of games for £10. And I was like, oh, that's handy. So I thought, well, I want more games than that. I only had a tape deck at the time. I thought I want more games than that. So I thought, well, we'll just go around the car boot sale. So for a few weeks, say 2 months rather than a few weeks, we're going around the car boot sales around Enfield in North London. And no one would just sell me the games. I only wanted to sell the whole thing. And I was only selling them for 10 or 20 quid. But I ended up with like a couple of hundred games. I ended up with like 11 Commodores and a big box full of joysticks and about, I shit you not, about 15 tape decks. And what I did was I ended up keeping one bread bin and one 64C, and I gave all the rest away to friends and family. Now, the one I gave my mum, I got back. That is now the one I used to record the SID effects on, because that was another one that was in mint condition, just a little bit brown. And all the rest I've had to rebuy because I just gave them away. And of course, now they're not 5 and 10 quid anymore. They're 70, 80 quid now.
Is that the going rate for a Kenny C64 now, is it?
If you get a good, you can get them. You can get them cheap. I mean, I got 2 64Cs in shittish condition. They still work though, but they were in shittish condition for I got them for 26 quid plus postage. That's for 2 at once. But that's because whoever was selling them spelt Commodore wrong. And I typed Commodore in wrong on purpose to see if I could find anything. And no one else bid on it. And they were, one other person bid on it. They were started it off at 25 quid. And I think there was 2 bids. One bloke at 25 quid and me at 26 quid and a penny. And that was 2 that I got. I mean, I paid 35 quid last year for a Commodore 64 and a VIC-20. Both together, and the neither of them worked, so they went to visit my mate in Southampton. They both work now, and the last 64 I bought cost me 35 quid, and that one I'm hoping to make a video on when the weather brightens up, because I've dubbed that one David Dickinson because it's so fucking orange. But it does. That one actually worked. The SID that's got a lovely SID on it. But it's not a console. We've drifted off of consoles again. Yeah, you say about you being a Commodore 64 channel and a waffle. We are a waffle in front of me because I'm looking at my videos. They're all Commodore 64 videos.
Here's one. See, I mean, I've got 2 C64s. I've got my 64C, which is down there, which is kind of it's my go-to machine. It's the machine I use just because I think it's a slightly more reliable. And I did buy one of these. It was 30 quid on eBay. It's a proper new power pack. Supposed to help it. I have got I would like to say my original bread bin. It wasn't the original one because I sold that a long time ago. But I've got I've got a bread bin in the cupboard. It's got Jiffy DOS in it. That's kind of my spare one. If for some reason my 2 C64s stopped working, would I be able to buy a C64 working fairly easily? Do you think? It's a pity I didn't know any mates that had any that could tell me.
Well, yeah, because I've got a close friend who I'd introduce you to that's got hundreds.
Oh really?
But for you, I'd do that. For anyone else in the comments, I can't do that for everybody. I've got a mate that's got a few that occasionally sells some off. So I could get you a good deal But if you was to say go on eBay, they go from anywhere to 40 quid untested up to I saw one yesterday, a silver label one from 1982 with actual 1982 stamped chips in it, and that was going for $349.99, and it had a low serial number of 37,000, and it was boxed, and the serial number on the computer matched the serial number on the box, so that's why that one's expensive. But yeah, the going rate for a decent working one that don't need really any looking at, perhaps just some heat sinks put on the chips if it's not been done, anywhere between 60 and 90 quid.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping I don't have to ever buy one. I mean, you know, one of the questions I do get asked on occasions is, you know, do you think you'll ever get to a point where you could sell your stuff? You know, I'm not at that point yet, but I think the fact that I've got that new graphics card, it's kind of opened up the emulation possibilities. You know, I can play PlayStation 2 games and that kind of stuff, but I do still. If I'm going to be sitting down to play a game, I'll sit there. Need to move the dog first. Sit there and I'll play it on original hardware. You know, to my mind, you still can't beat the, you know, that kind of experience with playing with real hardware.
Well, I mean, SID chips aside, because they haven't quite got that completely right yet, I don't see there's any difference between real hardware and emulation, because if I want to play Mega Drive, I've got a Hyperkin Mega Drive pad that feels exactly the same shape as a Mega Drive pad. If I want to play SNES, I've got a SNES pad. You know what I mean?
Aye, yeah, no, definitely. But aye, so anyway, I mean, getting back on topic with the console side of things. So, where do you know, what out of the sort of the three main consoles, the 16-bit consoles, we'll kind of stick to like the SNES, Mega Drive, PC Engine. What's your experiences of them, and you know, where do you kind of see them fitting with each other? What's the better one?
Well, that's a tricky question because they've all got their strengths. If I had to put it down on aesthetics, there's something about the original Mega Drive with that big circle on top, or Genesis for the American viewers.
Yeah,
that I really like. I haven't got a lot of experience with the PC Engine or the PC Engine Super Graphics, which was the second one. I've played a shitload of stuff under emulation for them. I mean, the version of Outrun on the PC Engine or TurboGrafx 16, whichever side of the world your bread's buttered. That version of Outrun, the only version better at home is the one on the Mega Drive. It is so good. I had a Planet. I've got my little revision model here, my GPD. In fact, it's probably, if I unlock it, yeah, it's got the PC Engine emulator on there. I was revising earlier on because we said we might talk about it. So yeah, the version of Outrun, and that's amazing. I think for shoot 'em ups, it's the PC Engine.
Yeah.
For an all rounder, I'd say it was the Mega Drive, and for more specialised games like your Marios and games like that, I'd say it was the Super Nintendo. But then saying that, I'm pretty sure Aladdin was better on the Mega Drive. But then see games like Aladdin and Earthworm Jim and Tarzan, you know, those kind of platforms. I can't fucking stand them. I wouldn't play them if you played me. I can't stand them games. For me, the Mega Drive was Hellfire, to shoot 'em up, that Jeff and his brother introduced me to. Well, they introduced me to all the Mega Drive games, really. Streets of Rage 2, probably the games I play on that most. On the SNES, at the time it was Street Fighter 2, because me and my mate who had the American one, we used to play that. And Rock and Roll Racing, I really like that one as well. And the PC Engine...
Is the SNES version?
Yeah, that was the SNES.
The better version?
Yeah.
Better than the Mega
Drive? I think it was. I haven't really played the Mega Drive one. I think the sound's a bit better on the. I'm probably saying something really controversial now, and I'm going to get slung for it. But yeah, I've only ever really played the SNES. I'm surprised that weren't out on the Amiga. The Amiga could have done that game as well.
Aye, it could have. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when we was talking about consoles earlier, I have actually got a PS1 and a PS2 over there as well. I forgot about them because they're in a box. But
Did they get used at all?
No, because I can emulate them.
And do you emulate them? Do you actually play PlayStation 1 games at all?
I haven't recently. I can do. I was. Did you see the video I put in the Discord group the other day of my arcade cabinet?
Oh, I didn't actually know. Missed that.
I was talking to one of the lads in there. I think it was actually Refraction. Is his name Alex?
Yeah, Alex, and he's one of the programmers on the
Yeah.
PlayStation.
So
Yeah.
I was saying to him, I've got that running on an arcade cabinet. It's got this old graphics card and this old processor, and he's like, "Really? It works on that?" I went, "Yeah, hang on, I'll get you a video." And I did a quick video, and I uploaded it to privately on YouTube and put it in a Discord group. And he was like, "Fucking hell, that's running on that. I'm really impressed." But that's just one game. That's a fighting game because I've played that a lot. But something like Gran Turismo, A spec, plays nice in places, but as soon as you go down the home straight where you got the all the signs and the tunnels and the bridges and that, it goes and starts slowing down to about 60 frames. But that this is weird, right? You know, we was having our conversation about MAME using cards to help with the graphics.
Yeah.
My arcade machine has got a graphics card in it from about 2008, 2009. It's an NVIDIA 9800 GT. Well, I've got, because I've upgraded one of my PCs, I've got a spare GT 630 from about 2014 or 2013. And I thought, well, a 5-year newer card, that's got to do the trick. It's got a gig and a half of more memory. I put it in, the game slowed down another 20%. So this older card's better than the new one.
That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, it is mental. So I'd have to get a really good card to that. So 3D games are out in the arcade cabinet, but I don't tend to play them sort of games very often anyway. I'm more a sort of like mid to late 80s arcade game player. You know, when I was old enough, because I am a couple of years younger than you, so I was 16 in 1988. So when I used to go on holidays when I was 15, 16, that's when I was old enough with my own pocket full of money to go off and play the arcades and not have to worry about what my mum and dad wanted. And I could just go off and play. So sort of like 87 to onwards really was more of the arcade era where I was able to do what I want. But I remember playing Space Invaders when I was about 6 years old and I could just see over it. And I wasn't going to win in the high score things, but it was Space Invaders that drew me in.
Right, before, you know, I was trying to, there was something I was wanting to ask you tonight, and I could not for the life of me remember, and you've just reminded me. Space Invaders. Lewis has picked Space Invaders for the main Meister high score kerfuffle. On my main cab, it's a complete ROM set. I don't know what it is. It's maybe about 15 years old, but it's got stuff like Taken on it that I never used. So it's quite I'm saying it's a recent. It's got every kind of classic one. For some reason, if I do a search for Space Invaders, the only ones that come up are like bootlegs. I mean, I can't get a classic like Space Invaders original black, green one, by like Tato to come up. Is there a reason? Because like sometimes you can't find Pac-Man, it's Puck-Man, whatever. Why can't I find Space Invaders by Tato in my name?
Have you not got a complete list you can scroll through?
I have.
Because
because
when I use MAME, I use the arcade front end, that one I was telling you about. I've actually put that on my MAME cabinet now and replaced MAME UIFX. And I just have a list of games and I just use the mouse or the trackball to find the game I want, double back the mouse button and away I go. So I don't really use in here in my front room on my telly. I've got a launch box that I've got a lifetime subscription to because I had it for a year and I thought this is great. And it was like $10 for another year or $20 for lifetime. So I use that for MAME in the front room because it's got all my systems down one side, a bit like your Coinops thing, and then it's got all the games and box art on the other side. But I only use that in here because I'm sitting across the room from the telly.
Yeah, I wonder. It's like like, as I say, it's like you've got things like Puckman, whatever, and I think is it maybe Space Intruders comes up with like Was Space Invaders called Space Invaders in Japan, or was it something different?
Yeah, there was Universal Space Invaders, that one. I mean, if I let me kick open an arcade thing, I've got an entire telly behind you, mate.
I kind of think why that's the case. I don't know. Let me have a look. I mean, I'm sure Space Invaders. I mean, I've got multiple versions of MAME on my PC, and I'm sure Space Invaders is there. But what I actually use on my MAME for Space Invaders is it's Space Invaders. It's like the coloured one. I don't know. That'll be a slightly different ROM set.
Well, it depends. Sometimes that can be if you've got the backgrounds and bezels and all that switched on. It's got overlays. It might be an overlay. I'm just looking at Space Invaders on now. I ain't got any sound on, so I'm not going to definitely. If I just start that up, it looks weird in the middle of a great big widescreen telly. Yeah, the one I've got. So the one I've got is completely white. And if I go to video options, I'm pretty sure it's overlays. Yeah, overlays enabled turns it to green. So the one I've got is the original one that's all white, like the all right, like the one that they were showing in the group. But yeah, that's completely white. I'll tell you now. I'll try and tell you.
What the name of the ROM?
Yeah, the name of the ROM for that is just called Invaders. Invaders.
Yeah, I'm sure that's that's the sort of the standard Space Invaders. Don't know why it's not. Maybe I've got like clones turned off or something. But that is weird.
There's so many of them, Al. There really is. I mean, on my Space Invaders section, I've got Space Invaders 95, Attack of the Lunar Loonies, normal Space Invaders DX, Part 2, and then somewhere further down I'll have Super Space Invaders. Because I've got a list called favourites. When I first started building my main cabinet, the first computer that was in it, I basically spent about a month going through every game on main, all the ones I knew, right clicking on them and adding them to a folder called favourites. And that folder's got 1,400 and something games in it now. If I find a new game that I want, like every now and again I'll do a random game or someone will tell me about one or I'll see one on your channel or something like that, I'll go and find it and I'll add it to favourites. So it's kind of grown over time. But yeah, there's a lot of versions of Space Invaders. So good luck with that, mate.
It's just really because I want to take part in it. I'm obviously taking part myself in the kerfuffle. I'm sure I can get away with playing a bootleg version. It'll be the same thing, eh?
It's your kerfuffle. Of course you can.
yeah, that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. But I think getting back to the console side of things. I mean, Mega Drive. I do like the Mega Drive. I mean, it's very, very distinctive sound. I think it's pretty good for it's good for a lot of things. A lot of good games. The funny thing is, the one console that I did own for a short time was the SNES, and that probably gets the least amount of love from me. I don't know why. I'm not really into Mario games as such. I'm not into Zelda games. Shoot 'em ups. I mean, is it actually? I think it is. That's on the SNES. There's a few decent games, but I don't know why. I don't really use that. But out of the three 16-bit, though technically some people argue that the PC Engine is an 8-bit. I think they have two 8-bit processors or something like that. Was it? Or do you not know?
I've got a screen up here in front of me. Did I just cut out then?
Yeah, you did. I thought, bollocks, I've lost it.
Nah, so for some reason, my phone and my router, every now and again, they'll just go, oh, we don't want to talk to each other. And just for a split second, it'll flick to 4G. And then as soon as it's flicked to 4G, before it has a chance to sort itself out, it goes back onto Wi-Fi. So anyway, well, I know the Turbo Duo is that's an even later one, isn't it?
Aye, the Duo was the disc one. I've got that. And so I've got the PC.
Yeah, well, regardless of how many bits it was,
aye, I mean,
if that had been released over here when it come out, I mean that would have gone up against. And when did the first PC Engine come out? So I'm just going to a different page now.
It came out. Well, I mean, it came out before the Mega Drive. I mean, I remember when I still had I think I probably still had my C64. In fact, well, I'll let you tell me when it came out. it was so far ahead of its time. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, well, the first PC Engine, or in America it's called the TurboGrafx
Yeah,
16, came out in Japan on October the 30th, 1987.
87. So a lot. I mean, I had just about, yeah, I had just moved to my Atari ST, but a lot of people. I mean, I was an adult, so I had sort of disposable income, so I could afford to buy another machine. But so many people were still playing their Spectrum. I mean, the Spectrum still had another, what, I don't know, 8, maybe 5, 6 years, whatever, in the same as the C64. And
Yeah.
it's insane to think that people were playing Trashman on their Spectrum, and your mates playing Outrun on his PC Engine. You know what I mean? You just want to beat the shit out of him and nick it. You know what I mean? It's just incredible. But there's something about, and I never had the PC Engine until I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I did have I bought an emulator. It was one of the first kind of really professional emulators. I think it was the first kind of commercial one. It was called Magic Engine for the
Yeah, I
PC.
used to use that one.
Yeah, and I bought
Yeah,
that.
I didn't buy it though. To move
Yeah.
along.
I did actually buy it, and it's incredible. So I never really had any interest in. Well, again, I didn't realise. It never dawned on me that I could actually go on eBay and buy a PC Engine. But I did get it, and I've got to say, out of the three sort of 16-bit consoles, if you want to call it that, that's my favourite. I don't know. There's something about it. I love the fact that it's so Japanese. I love the fact that a lot of games are load up. I don't understand a bloody word they're saying, but it's just because to me, the Japanese invented the video games industry, and you feel like you're kind of you're experiencing a bit of tradition playing a pure Japanese game. There's just something about it. I think the fact that I'm into arcade shooters and it's all arcade games. It just kind of it ticks all the boxes for me. It's an epic game, an epic machine. It really is.
Yeah, I like, I've not had a real one, but I do like it. You're saying about it, it's got an 8-bit CPU in it. I'm not sure which CPU it has without further looking. I'm not going to bother with that, but it's got an 8-bit CPU in it. But the reason it gets called 16-bit is because it's got a 16-bit video color encoder in it, and it's got a 16-bit video display controller, and it can display 482 colors at once out of a palette of 512. That's in 1987 at home.
That's just insane. That's just insane. And the thing is, the arcade ports that are on it are virtually arcade perfect. Look, you look at what do you call it, R-Type. It's just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I know they couldn't. They had to break it out in 2 parts. I think it must have been down to memory, whatever. But absolutely phenomenal machine. And then kind of moving slightly on, I'm now very lucky that I've got a Neo Geo MVS, whatever it is, which is it's essentially it's the arcade board thing, but somebody has consoleized it. Is that a phrase? They've kind of made it's like a wee mini console. It's quite smart looking. I don't.
Yeah, I remember it actually.
What's that?
I remember you did it. I remember you doing a video on that a few years back.
Yeah, I mean it's phenomenal to have something like that. But again, the Neo Geo, considering it's a powerful machine, it's been getting emulated perfectly for many, many, many years. So, again, that's kind of being able to play these games under emulation, kind of scratched the itch for many, many years. But when I had the chance to kind of own one, I just kind of jumped at it. The only thing I don't like about it, and that's why it's in the doghouse and I don't even have it plugged in, is because, and I mentioned this and it's a bizarre thing, about 2 years ago when I got it, I mean, I've got, you ought to see the back of my TV. I'm sure somebody comes in the middle of the night and just gets all the wires and they tie them into knots and I can't. How the fuck did that happen? But yeah, I've got various. I mean, in my old house, it was just ridiculous. I had like 5 SCART into 1 adapters with 5 SCART into 1 adapters plugged into that. You know what I mean? I must have had, I don't know how many, 20, SCART adapters going in. Anyway, to get back on track, when I switched my Neo Geo on, I noticed the light on the PC Engine came on. I'm like, how the fuck's that? The PC Engine was switched off, yet the light was coming on. So I switched the Neo Geo off, and the light in the PC Engine went off. Switched it back on, the light in the PC Engine came back on. I'm like, how the hell is that? And then this is the even more baffling thing. I pulled out the power adapter of the PC Engine, switched the Neo Geo on, and the light on the PC Engine came on. I'm like, it must be getting some sort of current through the SCART, going into the adapter and then going up the thing. So then I unplugged the Neo Geo, plugged in the PC Engine, dead. Took it to my mate Mike, who's got a computer shop. He checked. He goes, the chips are all fried. And I'm like, you're joking. I told him what had happened. He says there's obviously a current that's basically my what do you call it? My Neo Geo fried my PC Engine. That's why I told you about it.
Cool.
It's sitting underneath the TV, but it's not even plugged in. So if I ever do use it, I always make a point of having nothing else plugged in because bizarre, totally bizarre.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, well, if you're talking about Neo Geo, funnily enough, I've got a complete ROM set of that. I mean, if I tend to play a lot of stuff on here with my glasses on, but try and sort this out so you can actually see it. You can't see anything of that, can you?
Kind of. It's a bit my eyesight. It's a bit shit. Yeah.
Right.
Did you
Neo Geo.
buy that in my recommendation again? I can't remember.
What is?
Aye.
Yeah, this came from the same bloke your Spectrum Omni came from. He put it up in that little place we know, and I was like, I'll have that because of your recommendation. And I paid £8 for this front end, so it's got everything. I'm trying not to get a reflection, so it's got all the games in pictures and that.
Yeah.
And it was your recommendation for this, because since you spoke about it, when I did a bit of research, I found a website where you can buy new batteries and new bits and pieces for the inside of these. So I thought, if my battery goes like your one does, I've got the tools and some of the talent to be able to change a battery in it. So,
well, that's interesting. Good to know. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about it was the fact that I think how much was it? It was about 170 quid, and then it just stopped working one day, and sorry, I'm looking for the questions for the waffle. I've got to say, I'll absolutely love my outrun waffles.
Yeah, it was good.
That's I'm surprised nobody else has nicked my idea. What was I talking about? Yeah, it just stopped working, and I contacted GPD, emailed them, no response. I said, look, I bought this license 6 months ago. Can you tell me how I get it repaired? Whatever. No response. Went on their Twitter page, no response. Whatever. Just, they're not interested. If it breaks, they're not interested. Forget it. But I did buy another one, a fancy one, for about 80 quid. Because I paid 80 quid for that, right? The guy had it up for 85, and I mean, I'm quite chummy with him anyway. Had it up for 85, and I went, is there any room for negotiation on this? He went, why don't you take the fucking shirt off my back? So I typed back, what size are you? He went, have it for 80 quid, you fucker. Is that his t-shirt you've got on, is it? Aye?
Well, this one. That's a Father's Day present for my boys. Goes with me Commodore hat.
But yeah, I mean, I bought another one because I think pound for pound, I think it's probably still the best portable emulator. I mean, the battery lasts forever. It's a great little machine. It really is. Like I say, it can be potentially, it can just stop working, but I suppose it's like anything. But yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, I took a lot, because I put my Google account on it. I took a lot of the not going to go for any countries. I took a lot of the pre-installed stuff off. So of course, all the emulators I bought, like the C64.mu, all the Robert Broglia stuff, PC Engine, I bought quite a few of his emulators to use on my phone and that. Because do you remember I showed you ages and ages and ages, like back when we were first getting chummy, I showed you a picture of that stretchy game controller you could put a phone in.
No.
Ages and ages. Well, I did ages and ages and ages ago. I bought them all for using on that old phone with that controller, but I can't remember the last time I charged it up. I just use that now. That's a great bit of kit. So yeah, anyway, you say, did you recommend it? Most of my fucking retro collection's your fault, you git.
That's what tends to happen though. You see somebody else with something and you're thinking, I would love to have that. I mean, the computer club that I go to, I mean, I've not been here for about 3 months, obviously. You would go along there and somebody would have a bit of kit and you go, oh, fuck, I'd love one of them, you know. You go into eBay, oh, there's one there for 100 quid, whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah. Anyway, listen, we're bloody hell, we're an hour and 8 minutes. How are we doing? Oh, we're not 6. Price, that's not bad. That's only went down 23%. I thought that was going to be a lot more. I mean, it was quite funny when I bought that iPad. I bought it on eBay, and it was an ex-demo version, and then it'd been like wiped. And then when I went to I can't remember, went to use Skype or some damn thing, it came up with all these bloody pictures. I'm like, holy fuck, this person, whoever's bought it, whoever's had this, has forgot to take off all their contacts. But then I realised what it is it's all these false contacts that they've obviously put in for the purposes of demonstrating it. And I've still got them on it. Every now and again, when I'm really bored, I'll sit down and I'll go, right, the delete contact, delete. I mean, all these top birds, etc., for like Hawaii and all that, I don't know, but they're on my contact list.
You have to look at their profile picture first, though, don't you?
Right, listen, what we're going to do is, if you're all right to stay, we'll crack on with a few questions, yeah?
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Fantastic. Right, I think this is, that was last week's one. Right, okay, Lacosa's making a comment here, but I don't think it wasn't so much a question as such. Sir Lancelot Adam is saying, I really like the Outrun Edition waffles. It reminds me of the old Laserdisc games. Actually, I was, I don't know if you, in fact, I think you did because you commented. I've got an interview. Well, it's not an interview as such. I'm going to be talking to Tony Temple, Paul Drury, and Richard May. They do a podcast called the Ted Dabney Experience, and Tony Temple he's got an absolutely fantastic. He runs an arcade blog. Absolutely fantastic. What Tony doesn't know about the history of the real early video games isn't worth knowing. So these three guys have got this really good, what do you call it, podcast. So I'm getting them on next Wednesday, and yeah, they were talking to a guy who he programmed Qbert, and he also worked on Mach 3. And here's an interesting thing. He was in the plane. He was directing them. Right, I want you to fly over here. He was directing them as they shot the footage for Mach 3.
Nice.
Which is pretty good. So I'm looking forward to talking to these guys next week. So yeah, my Outrun Edition waffles remind Adam of the old Laserdisc games. Fantastic. Right, Milfy Swinbuckle. Hello again, Mainmeister. Question for next waffle. And we'll put that to both of us. Could a modern day arcade be made nowadays? What do you think it would take to make an arcade that would get the public excited? I imagine it would have to be considerably better than the new consoles like arcade machines were for us when compared to the machines we had in our homes. Some super powerful hardware, perhaps they would need to go virtual. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you think an arcade, I mean arcades nowadays are just fully like shit, you know, grabbing machines, money things. Video games aren't a thing that you get in a console. Do you think an arcade could make a comeback?
Well, one has in my town. It's a bit smaller than Play in Bury and Blackpool, but there's a I don't think it's affiliated with them, but it's called Play Bideford. Which Bideford's the town I'm in. Again, no one's going to find me. It's not that small. they opened up last year. They've been shut for the last 3 months for obvious reasons. They opened up last year, and they've got pool tables. They've got a bar, a licensed bar. They've got a load of machines. They've got one of them 400-in-1 ones. It's got loads of old games on it. They've got Street Fighter machines. They've got loads of sit-down racing games. They've got another room, because I haven't been in there yet, because I haven't had a chance. My boys have both been in there. They've got a floor that's got like Xbox Ones, PS4s, Mega Drives, N64s, and all that sort of stuff in it. They've got a place to eat. And they put a post on Facebook today, because they're going to be able to reopen, although they're going to have to not let so many people in. They've got a brand new machine. They've got an original Capcom Commando machine. Now, that place, everything is on free play. It's £7 to get in. You can go in when they open. You can stay there until they close. And if you want to go out and get food somewhere else, or go and have a couple of pints down the pub and then come back again, as long as you've got your stamp or your ticket, that £7 covers you for the whole day. Now, £7, arcade machines towards the end of when we used to go down, they were getting on for 50p a shot, weren't they? So, you know, you're looking, you play 14 games, you've made your £7 already. So that one is successful. On their post today, there was loads of comments saying, oh, I can't wait for you to be open. I'm looking forward for Saturday. And they do private parties and stuff like that. So in that respect, an arcade could work. Now, I don't live too far from Westwood Ho Seafront, and there's never been massive arcades down there, but they used to have arcades with machines in. Those arcades now are cranes, win an iPhone, get loads of tickets, and I think there's a couple of pinballs and a House of the Dead, and maybe Lucky and Wild, the driving game. That is it. It's just all fruit machines and stuff like that. Because a barcade, it'll work. If it's a normal arcade, I don't think it will anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me like that place you're talking about, it's like arcade club. Have you been to any of the arcade clubs?
No, I haven't. That's what I didn't mean play. I meant arcade clubs, because this one's called play. No, I haven't, mate. They're a bit far up the road from me, and I don't drive.
Yeah, I mean, arcade club. I mean, I was there. I've been there a couple of times. I was at the new venue about 6 months ago, and they're mind blowing. They're absolutely mind blowing. I mean, Andy Day, who owns them, it's his private collection. I think he's got one in Bury, he's got one in Blackpool, he's got one in Leeds. I think he's got over 2,000 machines. There's literally not a machine he doesn't have. It's just insane. And you go in, you can look through the back, and he's got like this big warehouse, and there's all these machines that are just waiting to get put out, that are getting fixed, whatever. Just absolutely phenomenal. So whilst there is a demand for, you know, old style machines, and the arcade club's very similar. I think it's £16 to get in, and that's you in all day. It's just phenomenal. But I was going to go, whilst there is always a demand for that, do you think, like, somebody who's not interested in, say somebody opened an arcade but it didn't have classic machines, do you think that the technology in the home is at such a point that you would never, they can't compete, there would be no demand for an arcade? Because as Milfy said there, back in 1982, yeah, you could load up Donkey King or Punk Man on your Spectrum or Commodore 64, and you could play a shit version of it, or else you could go to the arcade and play proper Outrun. So there was always that. The arcade was always a lot much. It was always 10 flights above the home stuff. Now, you know, that graphics card will go in there. I can run arcade games from like 3-4 years ago. It's just but that's running emulating. You put a game on the PlayStation 4, and you know it's just phenomenal. You know, do you think a modern arcade with modern games would be a viable thing nowadays?
I don't think so, because the old well, apart from the fact everyone's going to be social distancing for now until doomsday, so yeah. 2-player games are going to be a bit not shoulder to shoulder anymore. People have got used to playing online, so they're sat in their front room, they can drink, they can smoke, they can do whatever they want. I don't know. I think really our generation, you know, people born sort of like between 1960 and 1980, that 20-year gap, which is kind of what our generation is. I think we were the last great arcade goers, apart from the Japanese, because I mean, the arcades out there are still mental. Because I mean, you were talking a few weeks ago about that new PlayStation 5 look at, and it looks like film, and for me, I'm not that interested in it. I mean, it's just I don't like realistic graphics like that. I prefer a game to look like a game. I was talking about this to someone today. You know, it's all very well having all these ultra modern games and that, but the game's not there. They're made easy, so you get to see everyone's dialogue. And then what arcade owner is going to want you to sit in front of one of their machine for 4 hours doing an entire story? So I don't I don't think it will, because people don't seem to want the quick dip in and out that we got used to. Because see, when I had a Specky and a 64, like you were saying, the arcade was so far above it. That was the pinnacle of gaming. So for me, still now, and now I'm 48, that is still the pinnacle of gaming, because that's what I remember that I wanted my machines to aspire to. All right, we occasionally on the 64 and Amiga, and sometimes even the Specky, got a really good arcade port, but it was never as good. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think it would take off like that. I think the nostalgia barcades are the only way it's going to work, because I mean, don't get me wrong, the arcades down the seafront, they're normally packed, but they're packed full of kids trying to win tickets so they can go over and pick up a Transformer or a Funko Pop or a wristwatch or something like that. Well, that's not an arcade to me. An arcade to me is the sound of Pac-Land, the sound of Hadoukens, and people getting angry and smashing pinballs about. That's what an arcade should be.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, back in the day, the arcades came along, and then closely followed by the home computers. And you know, this was a new technology, and the only way for us to experience that technology was to go to an arcade or have a shot in your local chip shop or the M6 services, whatever. And yeah, you could get a diluted version playing your Atari 2600 or your Spectrum or Commodore 64. And yeah, I do agree now. I think the world is a different place now. You know, your kids, my daughter, I mean, what we're doing right now, we're sitting, you know, talking to each other using iPads, etc. Even I was trying to explain to my daughter, you know, about when I was your age. I says the only time I got to take photographs was when I was going on holiday. My mum and dad would buy me 2 spools for my camera, and I would have maybe like 12 pictures. Now she takes more selfies and whatever it is per day. You know, it's throwaway. You know, the fact I remember mum and dad buying a tape recorder, and me and my mates used to sit and like we would record like radio stations, and just being able to listen to your voice getting played back was like witchcraft. Now YouTube and everything, it's all I'm sounding like a completely old fart here, but yes, it was all so modern, it was all so high tech. Nowadays kids are spoiled, and I really don't think, I think other than the sort of nostalgia of places like Arcade Club, etc., I don't really think arcades, they're never ever going to be what they were, certainly not in a gaming point of view.
No, just before you move on, talking about technology, right? I can't remember if it was an all computer show or just a Spectrum show, but a lad I went to school with, I went into London. It weren't somewhere big like Olympia. I can't remember where it was now. And it was like some sort of show. And I remember he bought Outrun for the Spectrum there. So we're talking sort of 87, 88. So I was only 15, 16. And we walked past this booth that had like a camera, and it had this big CRT. And as you walk past, it'd capture an image, and it was just black pixels on a blue background. And there was a guy called Jason I was with at the time. We were walking past, and we looked around at his screen, and we was like, oh, look at that! Look at the graphics on that. It's photographic. And all it was just blue divot pixels, black divot pixels on a blue black background. But it was the first time we'd ever seen digitized photo, and that was on like a Spectrum 128 or something that was sat on the booth. It's amazing.
No, I know, epic. Anyway, Milfy, thanks for your question, buddy. Let's see. You oldie gamer Steve, question for you. I've been re-watching your That Was the Year That Was videos, and I'm wondering if you could only play games from only 1 year, what would it be and why? I'm going to start off with that one. 1 year, blimey. I think for me, without actually seeing what games were released when, I would probably go for 1985 for lots of different reasons. That was kind of what I was very lucky. I had a very, very happy childhood from when I was born right up till became a teenager. You know, really happy childhood, and I know not everybody was that lucky to have that. In 1985, to me, it was I got my first girlfriend actually, yeah. Who's still on my Facebook, so I better watch what I'm saying. But yeah, I was like, what would I be, 17-year-old, discovering girls, got my first girlfriend, had my Commodore 64, was still working, yeah, started kind of going out to, no, I didn't go to pubs, but started drinking. It was just, and you know, the whole computer thing was all new as well. It was an epic time. I mean, I've got a diary. It's in my bedroom actually that I kept in 1985, and I was looking through it the other night there, and the entry on the Monday was I was up at Ray's computer shop. I went up to Ray's computer shop to see if he had Exploding Fist, and he told me it's not coming until Wednesday. And then on the Wednesday, 2 days later, I said, "Oh, Grant's going to pop into the computer shop to buy it for me." And then he turned up with Exploding Fist, and for about the next 2 months, every single day, played Exploding Fist. It was just bloody awesome. But yeah, that year for me, there were so many good games, and people are going to say, "Well, it came out before then," but you know, just again, I couldn't really relate to arcades because I didn't have living in central Scotland. I never really got to go to arcades. My mum and dad detested the sort of the Blackpools of this world and Scarboroughs, so we never ever got to go there. But just it was just there were so many epic games. There was things like Beachhead and Drop Zone, and it was just a really good time. So yeah, probably for me, and looking at the games that did come out in arcades, if I could go back to a year, I would have gone to arcades and I would have played things like Year Kung Fu and you know all the sort of Konami stuff, probably your Nemesises and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, 1985 for me, definitely. What about yourself, Chris? What year if you could pick?
I'd go one later than you. I'd go 1986 because that was the year I got my Commodore 64, which, regardless of the arguments, for me was an upgrade from the Spectrum, purely, if nothing else, from a sound point of view. Outrun came out in the arcades. I was 14 that year, so I was starting to get a bit more leeway with my parents. And I think it was later in that year that I started going to. There was a sweet shop. Half it was a sweet shop, and the other half was a knitting shop and a bike repair shop, of all things. But he always used to have 2 machines in there, and he had Hypersports in there. He had Rygar, he had Trojan, he had Control Grisor we had over here. He had them machines in there. I'm not sure if he had all them in 86, but that was when I first started going in there. Basically, that was the start of everything that I do now with SID tunes and Commodore 64 music, and that 1986 was when that started. So a lot of my favourite arcade games come out, and that was the year. Even though it was.
Nope, we've lost you for a second. I think you must have gone into 4G. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, that's just.
You're back. It froze for a few seconds. Sorry, what were you going to say? You were kind of talking there, but just kind of cut off.
I just said, yeah, 1986 was the one for me. So
yeah, to be honest, I mean, I could really have chosen 1984, 85, 86. I suppose 85 as well, as there was a lot of amazing films. You know, Back to the Future came out in that as well. I mean, it's just like absolute nostalgia overload. I mean, I don't know what happened. I have no idea why. About maybe 5-6 years ago, maybe more than that. I mean, I was very happy in my life where I was in my life at that point, but for some reason I started just kind of. I think you know what it was, probably actually just after my dad passed away and my mum passed away in 1998. I just started really reminiscing about the 80s, and I would dream a lot about I was back in the 80s, and I just kind of pined to go back to that point. And it probably was down to the fact that I'd lost both my parents, and I look back at that kind of point in my life where you're 17 years old, you've got a bit of disposable income. Your mum would do your washing, you would tidy up your bedroom, and you had no responsibilities. I'll just give you a quick anecdote about the diary. I was telling my daughter that, and she's like, "I don't believe you just told me that, Dad." One of the entries was me and my mate were out for a walk in the woods, and I found a porno mag. I was trying to explain to her. I says it wasn't a porno mag; it was just probably women with their tits out. I says, but I says you need to understand that was before the internet. So I says, and I never ever bought porno mags. I would invariably either find them. I mean that was a thrill you could never replicate, finding a porno mag. Whoa, bloody hell!
Nah, no, can't beat a bush find, mate.
But yeah, and the funny thing was, 2 days later, I found this porno mag, and then 2 days later, my sister and brother-in-law came down to visit. Well, my mum and dad and me. And my brother-in-law had, I put down that I was going to he'd asked me for a loan of the mag. He doesn't watch this channel, but you'll not be happy that I've just revealed that on YouTube. But anyway, yeah. Fantastic. Right, moving on. Oh, bloody hell, this Panther UK bloke. Right, okay, I'll let you answer this yourself. Top mobile waffling square. The sound was only really a struggle for the last 5 minutes. Yeah, that's interesting. I think it was Ox said, I think he's got, I don't think his hearing is great, but he said that he couldn't make it a word. I says, was it only the first 5 minutes that was a bit shit?
It was just the last bit. I think whichever way you was driving, for the last 5 minutes, you changed direction. I think if you had your window open a little bit or something, just the sound of the wind. But I could still hear it. So
what I'm going to do, I really don't do many of these waffle things, but sometimes because of lockdown, I don't see my girlfriend during the week, so I see her on a Friday, so hence the reason I have to record my waffles on a Thursday at the moment. But sometimes that's the perfect opportunity. It takes me like 40 minutes to get to her, but so it's perfect opportunity, because being in a car is a wonderful way. And I've always said, like, going for interviews, whatever, when you're in an interview scenario, you get you can get quite nervous. If you're in a car, I always think that if somebody's going to interview me, I would rather they sat in the passenger seat, because when you're in a car and you're driving, you can just talk, and that's why it's a perfect opportunity for me to do sometimes. But if I was going to do another one, what I'd probably do is just use my phone, just put it on a recorder, and that'll pick up a better signal, and then I could just overlay it. But anyway, right, what's been your worst or best, depending on your point of view, case of cheating to finish a game? Well, I'll let you tell. What was yours?
Well, I haven't really cheated that much. I think Nemesis on the Commodore 64, for me personally, there was a cheat mode where you pressed one of the shift buttons 4 times or something, and it gave you invincibility. So I completed that day one, because I found that out by accident. And I thought, I've got to write into Zap about this. So I wrote into Zap about it. And when I opened up the cheat section, next issue, I think it might have still been Julian Rignall doing it then. He said, thousands of people have told us about Nemesis. I was like, bollocks. Yeah, or I think I put in the thing there about just loading up the Turtles games on my arcade machine with my kids so we could play all the way through.
Yeah.
I know it's cheaty, but it's half hour I've got to spend having a laugh with my boys and that, and we just kept playing and playing and playing.
I used to, Ava and I used to play. What did we used to play? We used to play. Oh bloody hell! I keep forgetting the name of it. What's that one? It's Lakoza's favourite game with the little rainbow ladders. Rodland.
Rainbow Islands. Rodland.
No, not that one. Rodland. Fantastic game. Ava and I used to put on Invincibility. She was maybe like 6-7 years old. In fact, you know what it was? We used to play it on my original Xbox. Just put Invincibility and we'd sit and play that. But I must admit, when I play a game now, and even for many, many years, when I'm playing an arcade game, I absolutely detest putting continues in, which I know is daft because there's very, very few people could complete an arcade game on one credit, unless you play it constantly. And the only way to kind of get further in was to put an additional coin in. But for some reason, I just don't like doing that. If I'm playing R-Type and I die, I'll always go back to start, and I've got to start from the beginning again.
Yeah, it depends if I want to see. It's normally one to hear the music and see the graphics of the later levels. I haven't done it. I mean, when I did, one of the videos I put out for Rambo, I thought I haven't got time to sit and relearn this, and I was like, I know exactly what to do. It's just avoiding everything. Oh, fuck it, I'm putting invincibility on, and I just did it. That way because it made it easier for the video. I've got a comment on that saying, if you'd have done it in such and such a way, it would have taken a bit longer if you hadn't have cheated. Because if I hadn't have cheated, I'd still be fucking recording it now. So yeah, I don't mind cheating on games and stuff like that. Like if I want to do I've got plans for a few videos, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not very good at them games. If I want to show more than sort of 30 seconds, I'm just going to cheat. But I will always say, I'll put a cheat mode on. If people don't like it, they can switch off. I'm not, where that's concerned, I make videos first and foremost for my mates. I mean, originally it's because I was doing videos with you and the other Chris, and I thought, well, I can put some stuff out that I'm interested in. So I was like, well, you two subscribe, and I thought, well, as long as my mates and that like it. And now I'm up to 91 subscribers already. It's going to be my 100 sub videos are just coming up fucking quick.
Well, that is fantastic. Good, well deserved.
And that's not a cheat mode either. That's legitimate.
I'll tell you a funny story. I think it might have been Lacosa. I mentioned that to you. One of my mates who goes to the computer club. I'm not going to name him. Not that he even bloody watches my channel. But anyway, he's shit. He's absolutely shit at video games. He's just awful. And we were at the computer club, and he was sitting playing. Was it R-Type? On something or another. I don't know what it was. Maybe the PC Engine or something. It doesn't matter. And I was kind of sitting watching him, and I thought, Chris, he's doing pretty good. He got to like the end of the first level, and I thought, bloody hell, that's not like him. And then he managed to destroy the kind of alien thing, and I thought, okay. And then I went through to get a cup of tea, and I came back through, and he just at the point he'd completed the second level. And I went, fucking hell. I said, have you been playing this? He goes, oh, I don't know. It's all just coming together. I'm doing really well. I'm like, you're not like that. Take games. I said, fuck knows how you're doing so well. And then I'm sitting watching, he's in the third level. And I went, go and give me that joystick for a second. And I grabbed the joystick off him, and I moved the ship right into the ship. And it was the die. I go, you're invincible. Oh, for fuck's sake, no wonder. Yeah, he thought he was actually doing really well, yet he couldn't actually die. I'm like, fucking hell, you're still shit. Ah dear. Anyway, Panther, thanks. Oh, you're there, yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Right, Mr. Jones. Yeah, there is a question in here. May I recommend a standalone audio recorder with a clip-on mic? You can recommend it, but you're not going to get it. You're talking to me. Yeah, I could make you out, but only just. It was still a good waffle. Yeah, I tend to overlook about sound quality with things sometimes. Right, question. There have been many advances in computer capabilities over the years, but do you have a standalone moment where something you saw or heard just made you go, whoa? I'll be honest and say there were a few times for me, so a top 5 in no particular order will be fine. Bloody hell, you don't ask for much, do you, Colin? Top 5, right, I'm going to we'll go for 2. You go first. What was your first, or whatever, wow moment?
Rob Hubbard, Crazy Comics music.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
My first wow moment would be, let me think, loading up Donkey Kong. My mate Brian came up. I just not long got my C64, and I didn't realise that piracy was even a thing. And until he told me that he had like 100 games and I had like 6. So he turned up with this. it wasn't a C90. It was a, I don't know what it was. It was a C something or another, C30, whatever it was. I can't even believe that I'm arguing about what length of tape it was. But he loaded up. We were going through different games and like yeah whatever, and then he loaded up Kong by Analog Software, and I just thought, fucking hell, this is unbelievable. It was just better than anything I'd seen in the C64. And I said to him, "Oh, can I copy this tape? Oh, I've got to go home now." And I'm like, "You cunt!" I said, "You've just put the best game ever, and you're fucking going to take the tape away." And I think I asked him if I could borrow the tape. He's like, "No, because you're not getting it." So what I did was I left the C64 on. I had school the next day. I left the C64 on, and I came home from school, and the game was still loaded. I didn't want to switch it off to play this game. And I always remember my mum said to me in the morning, were you playing music at like 2 o'clock in the morning? Because I heard this noise, and I thought, it's fucking Kong. It was the Kong attract mode, whatever it was. But yeah, that was just looking back now. I wouldn't say it's a shit version, but again, anyone looking at that now, you think, seriously, how could that be a wow moment? But you just have to remember this was a point where previously, I could only look at an arcade game. To actually have something that resembled an arcade game in my bedroom was just mind blowing, absolute mind blowing. Second wow moment.
I think my second wow moment would be skip past all the Amigas, all the 16-bit, skip past the PlayStation. I think of the second real wow moment that's up there with the Rob Hubbard moment would have been a friend of mine. He's not with us anymore. My friend Adam. He gave me a disc called Arcade at Home, and on that CD was basically a front end called Arcade at Home and an early version of MAME, like 0.31 or whatever. So we're talking sort of 98, 99. He went, try that. So I did what it said, give the instructions, copied it to my hard drive. I had a look at the list of the games and I thought, Outrun, eh? Yeah, right, okay, how's this going to look like the arcade version? Because I had no idea. I double-clicked the icon. Fuck me, it was only actual Outrun. And I was like, I looked at him and I went, probably the same thing for a different reason. I was like, you can't. That's. He went, yes, the actual arcade stuff. And he explained about, because he'd found out like me the day before from a friend of his. And he explained about ROM dumps and how they'd got all the chips off the board, put them into digital form inside these zip files, and this bit of software translated it and it played it like it was the arcade machine. And Outrun was one of the games in '98 on my little 233 megahertz processor that run full speed with scan lines, so it looked the part as well. And I was absolutely gobsmacked. So for me, to make an all-encompassing statement, it's MAME. It's just the first time I played MAME, and there's like, saying earlier on about that being the pinnacle of games for me in the 80s, all of a sudden, I've got a 2000 machine arcade of my very own, and I ain't got to put any money in. Brilliant.
Yeah. I was going to go for one more, but I think I would have to go along with you. The first one was again, it was my mate Grant that phoned me one day and he said, my mate Gary's got these discs and it's got arcade games on it, and I'm like, oh, you mean like, no, this is the arcade. And I'm like, fucking seriously? And he knew at that point I was like into emulating and all that. And he was going to come up like 3 days later, and I was so excited about waiting for him to come up. And he turned up with this clutch of 3.5-inch floppies, and I think he just left them with me, and then he disappeared. And it was like booted into DOS, and then it was like whatever it was, CD into A drive, MAME / Galaxian.exe or whatever the fuck it was. Boom! There was a grid, and then suddenly Galaxian, and I was just like, fucking hell. It didn't have any sound, but it was Galaxian running on my computer in my bedroom, and just like you, I'm like, wow. And even now, it's still I'm like a stupid little schoolboy. I still get really excited about loading up 1942 on my PC. It's the arcade I'm playing it here, you know what I mean? Just, yeah, to me, I mean, I did do a video a few years back proclaiming that MAME is the best piece of software ever written, and I still stand by that. I just think it's, for me personally, it's the best bit of software ever written. You know, take away.
I have to agree, mate. I mean, I've got. Well, you've seen a picture of my arcade cabinet, and I think anyone that's in the Discord should have seen it because I put it on there. I've got a widescreen monitor in there, but I've got it in vertical mode because I like a lot of Japanese vertical shooters like Dodonpachi and stuff like that. And occasionally, because I've got the marquee light as well, I'll have booted it up and I'll leave it on sometimes because it doesn't get used while we've been going through this. I used to use it a lot when Jeff used to come round on a Friday for a few hours. And so it hasn't been used as much recently. And I put it on to do the Tiger Heli tie score kerfuffle. Oh, Black Tiger, was it? What was the bloody helicopter one we did last time round?
Tiger Heli, yeah.
Yeah, so I put that on, and then I walked away and left it, and I sort of come into the front room of my house, and I spoke to my missus about something, and I went back out again, and as I walked out, I thought, oh, fucking arcade machine. Now I've had that thing for about 8 or 9 years, but it's still, if I walk into a room and it's on, and I'm not thinking about it, I'm still like, I've got my own arcade machine still.
I'm exactly the same. Exactly the same. So, fantastic question, Colin. Yep. Let's have a look. Who's that? Sterner stuff. Super imposing outrun on real life. I love it, to be honest. I wouldn't mind having just those 3 songs on my car radio. I did actually think about, I think I might have done that before. I did actually think about overlaying the background music when I was talking. But a few people, what's your opinion, just very quickly? A few people have said to me, like, what's the video I do? The computing video games where I just read a magazine. I just read it and talk about it. And I've got some, I've got a couple. I've got one mate, Mark, who he did all the kind of graphics for my channel. But he writes kind of some like 80s style music. So I've got this kind of like cheesy 80s music overlaid. And a few people have said to me they wish I would cut the music out when you're talking. And I do know sometimes I've watched maybe a video, not my own videos. I've watched a video and I'm thinking, I can hardly hear what this guy's saying because of the music. What's your thoughts on like music in the background? Does that put you off?
No, not at all. And I mean, you know, I've made 2 videos where I'm talking and I've left the music underneath. As long as you get the levels right, apparently, and I don't know what he's done. My boy that edits my videos, on the last one I did, he said he'd found a way to get the audio to automatically turn down when I started talking and turn up. So it kind of, as long as there's, I don't know how he's done it, but I think that video sounds great. So I'm not going to knock it. I've never had any trouble. I mean, obviously, if you're going to have road sound and outrun music, I mean, you're going to drive Ox to distraction. But no, no problem. I actually think the having cheesy music like that under you talking about the magazines makes them more interesting for me. I like that when you do the they did what, where you have the music at the beginning while you're talking about like music from the games when you're looking at the magazine adverts and the box art. I think the music makes it, but then we're all different, aren't we? As long as you get the levels right, I can't think of a video that you've done, and you know I'd tell you was a twat if I thought you were. I can't think of a video that you've done where I thought, well, I can't hear that. Just the last 5 minutes of your last waffle, and that was because of the wind. That was nothing you did. That's the planet.
Yeah, I have occasionally when I do like Arcade Perfect my arse. Every emulator has a different level of sound, and sometimes I'll maybe forget to check the sound in it. What I usually do is once I finish it, I'll just quickly play 2 seconds each one. Like, that's fine. Bring it down a wee bit. On the odd occasion, like the Atari ST for some weird reason, it always seems louder. Oh, fucking hell! You can't even hear what I'm saying. But you know, by that point, I've already deleted the image, so you know what I mean. But yeah. So anyway, where are we? That was Sterner stuff. excuse me, Wee Bob, great waffle. I will try to check out the Discord when I get a chance. I think I saw Wee Bob. I think he's signed up to it actually. I've seen several systems that I want to buy Saturn, but I just don't have the room, and I have to stop myself from buying these things. Question for next waffle based on this waffle. Can you name a classic game that you would say would have been a foundation for a game like The Last of Us? I think it should be, was there any post-apocalypse games? I can only think of Ant Attack and When Time Stood Still. Quick for next waffle, name a classic game that you would say would have been a foundation. In other words, was there a game that what do you call it, thing with The Last of Us, inspired The Last of Us? Have you played The Last of Us, by the way, Panther?
No, it's a playable movie to me. I've watched. My mate Jeff bought a PS4 just to play that because he likes. I've got to say this without making him sound like a weirdo because he's not. He likes cuter games and he prefers games with like female protagonists because he said, he goes, I'm a man in real life. He goes, when I want to escape something, I'm quite happy to play a character that's completely different to me. And he said, you can't get much different to a 50-year-old man in Ellie in The Last of Us. I was like, well, that's a fair point, mate, actually. So I went round his house over, because I've been round there for a while, obviously, but I went round to his, I spent the day round there over Christmas. And we was like talking like the shit like we are here for a while. And then he said, do you want to see some of The Last of Us? And I watched him play the first couple, perhaps 2 or 3 hours while we were sitting there nattering. And don't get me wrong, it looks lovely, but it's not a game I will play because I don't like getting drawn into stories like that anymore because it's having the time to do it with all the other stuff that I want to do. And I'll be doing the game a disservice. You know, it's like, I really like the Metal Gear Solid games. And, you know, Metal Gear Solid 4 is like a 24-hour story. And now, when I won't play them again all the way through because I've still got the saved games. It lets you play certain levels and certain bosses. So, like Metal Gear Solid 3, for example, there's a boss called The End where you it's like a sniper mission, and it can take anything from 5 minutes to 3 hours to do this, to try and find him, and you've got to look for the scope. I absolutely love that. Will I ever play the rest of the game again? Yeah, probably not, because I know the story. So a lot of the wow factor's gone, and it's just I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on it. I find there's something missing in the more modern games to what they used to be. They just seem a bit soulless to me. But it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's an absolutely gorgeous looking game.
Well, it's interesting you should say that because I mean, you will not find anybody more into. You would much rather play a game in Berserk than Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Although I do have all the systems. And I probably will get the PlayStation 5 when it comes out, just because I've got a daughter who's equally into video games as well. So she's kind of one I watch having me as a dad. I mean, I very, very, very rarely play modern games, but I absolutely love The Last of Us. If people are watching this video and they're not into modern games, I mean, it's kind of it's completely a reverse of what you've just said. You've said you wouldn't want to play it. I'm like you, but I've played Last of Us and I just loved it so much. I've completed it 3 times. I've bought the new one. It's awesome. That and Resident Evil 4. If you're going to play 2 current games, these are the 2. Just love them. I totally get what you're saying, but these 2 games just absolutely resonated with me. So you know, if you want it, take that as a recommendation. You know, I'm the person that would not. I'm not interested in playing modern games, but Last of Us, there's just something about it. I did play it with my daughter. My daughter, she was kind of too young to actually play it at that point, but she used to love just sitting and kind of enjoying the whole atmosphere of the game, the sort of storyline as well. I mean, you probably know what happens at the very start. It's a bit of a fucking hell moment, you know what I mean? But Yeah, I just I did enjoy Last of Us, and I've only played about 10 minutes of the first one. My daughter's
My youngest boy's been playing that for the last few days, and I got him from work yesterday, and I could hear him effing and blinding upstairs. And I stuck my head into his bedroom, and I went, "Are you playing like shit?" And the look he gave me, he went, "That's not helpful, is it?" I went, "Well, I'm mucking about." He went, "I don't think it's funny, right?" And I was like, "Ooh!" I thought, "Blimey, touch the nerve." So I got my work gear off. I got changed. I stuck my head back in, and he'd swapped from his PlayStation 4 to his Switch, and he was playing Animal Crossing. I was like, I thought to myself, not going to say anything. He's having a chill out there, isn't he? So be prepared to be infuriated because he's only 20 and he's winding him up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what game was there any post-apocalyptic games back in the 8 bits? I mean, he's mentioned Ant Attack when time stood still. I don't know. I mean, do you not think that zombies are a fairly modern phenomenon? I mean, back in the 80s when videotapes first became a thing, Dawn of the Dead, oh bloody hell, George Romero, Dawn of the Dead. Well, now you can't bloody move for zombies. They're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere. But back in the 80s, how many zombie games were there? There was Zombie, which had zombies in it, funnily enough, by Sandy White, who actually programmed Ant Attack. Bar Zombie in the Spectrum, which is a cracking game. I can't think. Was there any zombie games in the C64 that you can think of?
Well, I think there was a few zombies in Chiller, but I mean that weren't exactly the showcase game to talk about, was it?
So it wasn't really. Now you can't. Now you literally cannot move for bloody zombie games. But
No, they go through phases, don't they? I mean, sort of like 5 or 6 years ago, everything was sparkly, pretty vampires, weren't it? And then before that, it was I don't know what it was before that, but they seem to go through. They'll get bored of zombies soon, and they'll start on the werewolf or something again.
yeah, the only zombie thing I can think of in the Amiga, and I'm sure it was written in Blitz Basic. It was like a kind of light. Well, it wasn't a light gun. It was like Operation Wolf, but it was like zombies. Was it Zombie Apocalypse? I think was it called.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
That was actually quite good. But nah, I don't think zombies wasn't really a thing in the 80s. I mean, yeah, there was zombies, there was Dawn of the Dead and the Living Dead and that, but it wasn't really a thing that was used in computer games for some strange reason. So yeah, not a very good answer, wee Bob. I don't like calling.
I was just trying to think of some post-apocalyptic games. I mean, there's a few. I mean, a later game on the Amiga. I mean, I watched Lucosa's review of it yesterday. Walker, which starts off in 1944, and then the second level you're in the future in a post-apocalyptic sort of wasteland. There's probably loads we're not thinking of. You know that there's probably hundreds of post-apocalyptic games.
When you're put on the spot with these, sometimes it's difficult to actually come up with something. But I don't know. But certainly, if you've never tried The Last of Us, give it a go. I absolutely love the game. I mean, I wouldn't sit and play through a game. I'm like you. I'm not interested in putting hours and hours and hours into games, but I just got drawn into The Last of Us. I've played it twice in the PlayStation 3. I've completed it in the PlayStation 4, and I've just bought the new one. So, go figure. GTB Films, that's my mate Alan from the Computer Club. Great scenic waffle. Question for next week. After a few drinks last night, I got an email from Steam about their sale. The remastered R-Type was on sale and it looked so good I bought it. The new visuals looked good, but I couldn't help thinking they were a bit familiar. Today I remembered I already bought the game for the PlayStation. Have you ever accidentally or on purpose bought the exact same game twice? You?
I'm just trying to think. I don't think I have, because I hate buying games twice. So, I mean, even 69p mobile phone games. When I switched from iPhone to Android, I was playing. You remember we used to play Words with Friends. I bought that on iOS when it was like 59p. And when I went to Android, it was like, you've got to buy it again. I thought, oh, well, it's only 59p. Was it? Fuck, it's like a tenner on that to get rid of the adverts. Yeah, the adverts can fucking stay in it. Yeah, I don't like buying games twice. That's I think like my brother-in-law does that. He lent me his copy of GTA 5 for the 360. And I think he's got it on the PS4. I think he's got it on the Xbox One. I think he's got it on the PC. Every time he flips round the system, he seems to buy a new copy of GTA 5. I mean, I could be talking bollocks. He might only have 2 copies, but he's lent me one of them. But no, I really detest buying games twice.
Yeah, I have done it. I don't know why. I bought, Christ knows why, I never played it the first time, and I certainly don't play it the second time. I bought Grand Theft Auto 5 for the PC. I don't know why. I think because I was just watching videos, but it ran like an absolute slug. It runs beautifully now, right enough. But then I bought it on the PlayStation 4, and I've done that a couple of times. There's been a couple of games. My daughter drove me to distraction. She was a little shit. She was going through a real Overwatch phase. So we bought it on the PlayStation 4. And then she wanted to play it in the place. I bought it for her on the PC because she could play it online with pals, whatever it was. And then we went to Comic-Con one day, and she saw it on the Xbox One, whatever you call it. And she goes, "Oh, I want it." And I says, "You've got it on the PlayStation 4. You've got the what? You don't need it in that." "Oh no, but there's such a..." And we ended up having a fucking massive fallout. And me being me, I ended up bloody buying it, and I was like, and it's fucking sat downstairs ever since. And I think it's ever been used. So I own 3 copies of Overwatch. Yeah,
I've just thought of one. I've just thought of one. Minecraft.
That's
Minecraft. I bought that twice by accident, right? Because I bought it once. For one boy, and I bought it again for my other boy. But for some reason, there was a cock up their end with a sales thing. So they refunded me the money. I think it's only like 13 quid. So they refunded me 26 quid. So the copies both my boys have got of their Minecraft comes from the original version I bought them when they were tiddlers that I got for nothing because they refunded me the money. So I bought it twice, but it didn't cost me nothing.
Just talking about bargains. Have you ever bought or heard of an air fryer?
An air fryer?
Air fryer, yeah. It's like you got one?
I know what it is.
Yeah,
I haven't got one, no, but I know what it is.
I was told by somebody, it was my ex actually, she was going on about this bloody air fryer that she bought. She said, "Oh, you need to buy one, it's fantastic." So I went on to Gumtree the other day there, and I saw one for 17 quid. So I drove through to buy it and handed the money over, and she said to me, "Oh, it's perfect working order, but the paint's come off inside it a wee bit, but it doesn't affect it at all." So I got home, and she'd given me the instruction leaflet. I got home, and my girlfriend came over to the house, and I was showing her it, and she picked up the manual, and the fucking receipt fell out. The woman bought it in November last year for Tesco. So she went round to Tesco, and she said, "Oh, we got me and my husband got this for our Christmas, and the paint's come off it, but we've still got the receipt." So they gave me a fucking brand new one.
Oh, that's splendid, mate.
I got a brand new one for 17 quid. But I wasn't biddling anybody. At the end of the day, she bought it. I don't know why she never took it back. But the fact that she gave me the receipt was absolutely fantastic. So there you go. Yeah, good stuff. I mean, Alan, yeah, I've bought a couple of games, and obviously Panther's bought a couple. I think in the past, I mean, I've got bloody Return to Gaming Dean, he's got a great channel, quite a good friend of mine. He's a good YouTube channel. He did 2 videos, and it was basically Xbox 360 games that you had to have on your collection. So I listed them all, and I was buying a lot online, and then every time I was up at the shops, I'd go into CEX and go, there's that there, I'll buy that, and I think I have got a couple of doublers, probably have somewhere, but yeah, I think we've all done it. You oldie gamer Steve, you mentioned common sense a few times at the beginning. Sadly, these days, common sense is not very common at all. I can't remember what the fuck I was talking about common sense for. No idea. Custard Horror, fantastic, best name ever. That superimposed, I can't even bloody read that. My eyesight's getting shit because it's getting dark. That superimposed Testarossa is just fucking genius. Well, he's put XXX. Thank you. Delboy 3K1 opinion. Although games and movies are different for streaming, I learned a lot from the demise of Ultraviolet. Doesn't mean anything to me. Google transferred a lot of my content, but not all due to license. In the end, my physical copy is with me, playable on hardware, fairly reliable, but the media is my own. License dies does not come into it, so it's mine's. Streaming has its uses, but I'm the physical version. Yeah, basically, I think he's talking about. That's a question I get asked a lot about. You know, is it? I think was it wee Bob was asking about? No, it was down the rabbit hole actually. Was asking about the PS5. I think there's going to be a download only version, and then there's going to be a sort of a tangible disc type thing. I prefer to have a game in my hand. It drives me daft that Ava will, instead of waiting for a day for Amazon Prime to deliver it for 10 quid less, she'll insist on bloody downloading it. But it will get to a stage where you can go to play something, oh fuck, it doesn't work anymore. Maybe.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. Ultraviolet was, as far as I remember, I bought something like The Hobbit on Blu-ray, and there was a little card inside for Ultraviolet, and there was a code and a website, and you go to that website, and you can stream the film. So if you've got the Blu-ray and you've got this card, you can, on your mobile, on your PC or whatever, you can stream the film wherever you are. So you've got it wherever. Ultraviolet has kind of died a death now, so half of people's movie collections digitally is fucked off into the ether.
Yeah, that's what I fire stick in cinema apps for. But I didn't say that anyway. Yeah. Right, Mad Moments Go, I think that's his name. Wow, what a horrible, humble noise. Was that just me talking pish, was it he's referring to? I like the Outrun touch, that's really good. This has got to be the best version. Oh my ears, you should upload this video again with the Outrun arcade music. Well, I may think about doing that in future. And lastly, because I'm doing this early, Down the Rabbit Hole hasn't... in fact, I probably should have dived into last week's... because I'm doing the waffle early, Kevin sometimes forgets to put the question until Friday. Apologies now, Kevin. I will pick up the question next week. Yeah, Milty Swinbuckle. I'm sure he's asked one already, has he not? Maybe he hasn't. I think he has. We'll give him a second one. That's a spankingly nice red Ferrari Testarossa you have there, Main Meister. Must have cost you an arm and a leg to get in the squared off Art Deco style. 2 questions though. You refer to your girlfriend in the vid as though she's not with you. So who's that blonde bird in the passenger seat? Well, that would be. I better not answer that one. Yeah,
it wasn't me.
I'm guessing just a hitchhiker, perhaps. Also, the hair replacement. When did you grow that fine brown afro? Yes. By the way, great waffle as ever. So, anyway, listen. Thank you very much, Milty Swinbuckle. Thank you to everybody. Fucking hell, we said. I told you it was going to be an hour. We're at 2 hours and 6 minutes. Bloody hell.
Well, it's a mega waffle. Don't you start on me. I'm just following your lead. It's your fucking channel, pal.
It's the last time I bloody get you back. Fuck's sake. Anyway, Chris, I used to blame Lacosa for me being unable to monetize, but I'm just as equally guilty.
Well, you said the first C word tonight, and these videos only ever seem to go on long when you're in them. So I think it's you, mate. It's not us.
Yeah, there's a comment link there. But anyway, listen, guys, I hope you enjoy the waffle. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Yeah, and finally, thank you very, very much to Mr. Panther. Chris, thank you for joining me, Squire.
Oh, you're welcome, mate. Anytime. Always good to have a natter.
Until next time, guys, as always, thank you very, very much for watching.